We have now former Baylor softball standouts Kaylee Snyder, Raleigh Oleksik, and Holly Merritt joining us in studio on the Off the Bench Nooga Splash Spotlight Series right here on Talk 102.3. And ladies, how we doing this evening?
Good. How are you?
Oh, doing pretty good. So we're talking a little bit before we got started here tonight. So, obviously, you guys were all seniors this year, so graduation's come and gone. Still enjoying the summer before heading off to college for sure, right?
Yes.
So, was that you got, obviously enjoying, the connections and the friendships, I'm sure, before you guys head out there, but also, I'm sure, jobs and just pretty much just enjoying some free time because, it seems like it's a year-round process, and you guys play multiple sports as well. So, I mean, it's good to have a break, though, too, right?
Yes, for sure. It is. I think it was very bittersweet at the end of the year just because, it was graduation. It was like a sad time. Everybody was moving on to the next phase of life. But at the same time, we just won a state championship. So it was awesome to go out on a high. And honestly, through graduation, it was hard to even think about, the sad moments. It was just all right, well, we just won our fourth straight and the ninth straight for the program. So that was pretty awesome.
So was graduation before or after spring fling? I can't remember.
It was after. It was
the Saturday after. We ended on Thursday.
That's a pretty good way to end your high school career. You get another state championship and roll in and do the tassel on the other side and get the heck out of here.
Absolutely, yeah. It's a fun opportunity. We can talk about championship stuff, but there's kind of an expectation at Baylor. Obviously, like you said, you've got 9 years in a row. You've got 17 overall. Just talk about expectation. And as you leave the program, do you kind of want to look back at the ladies coming up and say, y'all better carry this tradition on, or do you think you'll have any callbacks or come visit the campus in the next years?
For sure. There's definitely some pressure, that we want to win and keep winning and stuff, but it's also about having fun. But Coach Smith, gets us prepared every day in practice so that we do have a good opportunity to win each year. And we have good younger kids coming up through the program, so I'm excited to see how they do in the next few years.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the roster, when we were covering spring fling, we were up there a few days, and it's a good mix of under and upperclassmen. So it's kind of you're not obviously you guys are leaving a lot of good numbers there, going to college, but it's also good to see, too, that those freshmen and sophomores rolling back in can they have the experience now playing in a state tournament and a state championship game like you guys had at Middle Tennessee State. So, you talked about Coach Smith. Obviously, we had her on one of our programs this past season, and, Baylor alum, so she loves the program as well. Kind of talk about playing for her and, National Coach of the Year a couple years ago, and just kind of talk about just what she has meant to you and y'all's progression, getting ready to play at the next level.
Yeah, I mean, she's an awesome coach. I mean, to have the whole all the years of success that she's had, it shows. And I mean, she's had good players and stuff too, but she pushes us to a different level to make sure that we are prepared for those levels. Because I mean, all of us can tell you right now, this year with us being the seniors and knowing that we're going to play at the next level, we put a different type of pressure on ourselves to have to carry things out. And honestly, Coach Smith this year helped me a lot with just being my self and just letting loose and just playing the game instead of putting all the pressure on ourselves to be the heroes and stuff like that. Because one of our mottos this year was top to bottom. So like you said about all the underclassmen and the younger kids on our team, is just we need from the top to the bottom to produce for our team. We can't do it by ourselves. So that was cool. And just learning that we can't do it by ourselves, and it's really up to the whole team.
And to add on that, Coach Smith came up to all 5 of us that are going to play D1 next year at our last practice and was y'all don't need to have any pressure going into state. Y'all need to have fun because you've already proven what you can do. So just have fun and let loose. So that was really nice to hear from her.
That's awesome.
Yeah, obviously we know Coach Smith has done it at a high level for a long time. She's had a bunch of classes come through. Do you have a story maybe coming as a freshman? Were you afraid of what could happen, or do you have a Coach Smith story, or just a story overall that sticks with you as you kind of wrapped up your career? Maybe a funny thing or anything that you take with you that might be an off the field thing.
Well, we all grew up going to Baylor softball camp, so it's also been kind of cool to just go through it. And we grew up seeing how all the banners on our fence were all there, and we all dreamed of doing that ourselves. And so it's cool that we all have been able to contribute to 4 of those.
Yeah, and I know she'd probably hate that we said this on air and stuff, but this last year we finally got her like making TikToks and doing funny stuff with us to get us motivated before we played. So it was cool. Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely a lot of good success there, and it's definitely good to see the tradition continues because we were looking over this the website, the TSSAA website, and you look back at just the history of the program you guys played for just now, back in the spring, and have not lost a state championship game since 2014. So, I mean, you guys were in elementary school. So, talk about that and just, it's like consecutive senior classes, like you said, filling up one hand with the rings and get ready to do and have another one with 10 in a row. So, kind of talk about that, kind of what that means to you to be a part of that legacy of a Baylor softball.
I mean, it's like Kaylee said, too, we all grew up going to camps, and, like, we have all had our players that we've, like, looked up to, and now they're in college and they're playing, and it's just awesome to see that, and, oh, no, it's special. I tell people all the time, like, I'm so fortunate to be able to go to Baylor just because of how unique of a high school experience going to Baylor is. Like, nobody else has Friday nights like Baylor has, just stuff like that. Like, it is such a unique high school experience, and to be able to win 4 state championships in high school is just, like, I don't know. There's not many people that can say that they've done that. So it's pretty awesome just to be a part of it and be able to say that those were my 4 years. So.
Yeah. I'm sorry. No. Okay. Well, you mentioned the senior class you guys were a part of, and, you're looking through some of the, individual, obviously team, accomplishments are number one for sure. Obviously, 9 in a row and 17 overall in school history. But, you along with fellow seniors, Addie Yates and Avery Shamblin, were named Best of Prep's, softball team this year. So, I mean, that's pretty cool to see, all 5 of you guys together, along with some other great softball players in the area for sure.
Yes, it was super special to all 5 of us be recognized and just show that all of us worked together really well through the season to lead our team, and it was just special to all be recognized for that.
Yeah, so obviously you won 4 championships as like going from freshman to senior. Well, just talk about the difference from like your freshman year there, kind of how that was going into like what it was like wrapping this thing up this past season.
Yeah, I always tell everybody like as soon as we win one, everybody's like, oh, well, next year we're going for 9, So like it's always like that, but I always tell everybody, too, like, every year is special. Like, every year is different. Every year is a different team. Every year we have different challenges that we've got to get through as a team. Every year we have different stuff. So I just think, freshman year coming in, I was like, oh, no, like, a little intimidated, just, like, scared little freshman. And for me, it was a little weird because I grew up always being, like, a middle infielder, outfielder, and we didn't have a catcher at Baylor. So I had to become a catcher. So my freshman year was weird, just trying to learn a new position and everything. But I think this year, like, if somebody was to ask me, like, what my favorite year was, it would definitely be this year just because, like, us seniors we're all super close, and just, like, we knew, like, what we had to do to finish it out, and we knew that, like, we had put in the work to be where we needed to be. And it was just special to know that, like, we were the leaders of the team, if you know what I mean. So.
Yeah, it was super special to just see how much we all grew throughout the 4 years of high school and how, like, some of us didn't contribute as much our freshman year, and then senior year we were able to just, like, really pull it all together and just be a big part of it.
Again, we're pleased to be joined by Holly Merritt, Riley Oleksik, and Kaylee Snyder, former Baylor softball standouts, and also played basketball and volleyball to name other sports as well. So definitely multi-sport athletes. Was that an important thing for you guys to do? Because sometimes you'll see just a dedicated one sport athlete, but just kind of talk about the multi-sport angle as far as you guys playing throughout your high school career and kind of how that helped you. I guess get ready for the next opportunity at the next level.
I would say for me playing basketball, it not only do I like playing basketball and I think it's really fun, but it also gave me a break from playing softball because we would have tournaments in the fall and then we play in the spring and then we go right into travel ball in the summer. So then getting an off season from softball to play basketball but still be competing against other people and pushing myself to do better, I feel like I couldn't have done it without basketball.
Yes, and I was able to play volleyball as well as basketball and softball throughout my high school career, and I think that was a big part of me getting the high school experience that I wanted, and just like being around different people, because different people play volleyball than do softball and basketball. So that was just important to me, and I just really enjoyed doing different things besides just playing softball, because that I might not have been where I am today playing softball without those other two sports, because they showed me how much I like softball and want to pursue that more.
Yeah, it was awesome. I just think, too, with softball and basketball, it's just two different families, too. And just, like, I don't know, Coach Gibson with basketball has just taught me so much, not even just about basketball, but about life, and just somebody that I can always talk to about anything, just one of those people in my life. So it was really cool just to, like they said, have a break from softball and have fun with basketball and get to be with them too and just be with everybody. That was awesome.
Okay, for all three of you, favorite non-softball memory from Baylor since you guys play multiple sports?
They're going to do it.
I always enjoyed going to eat at Coach Gibson's house. We usually did a team dinner like almost every 2 weeks, I'd say, on Sundays or something. And that was always fun for just some fellowship, and he cooks really good food.
There you go.
That's good to know.
It was one time in the locker room. I think it might have been before practice, and we had a freshman, and her name was Mary Holmes, and we were playing The Devil Went Down to Georgia, and she had on a cowboy hat and was singing it, and she's the most, country bumpkin kid you've ever met in your life. It's amazing. I love her so much, but it was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Shout out to her, for sure.
Oh, my favorite memory, was every around Christmas time, we always take a Gatlinburg trip for basketball, which is I don't know, we would go up there, play 5 games, whatever is the weekend. But this last year, we had 8 or 9 seniors on the basketball team. So we were hey, Coach Gibson, this is our last year with us. And same, we've been at basketball camp since we've been tiny. He was I was hey, it's our last year. Let's take a trip to Dollywood. And so we all got to go to Dollywood our last year, and it was super fun just to be with everybody and
favorite ride there?
Oh, probably the Wild Eagle. I love that one. It's the biggest
classic.
one.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I did not go on that trip.
I'd probably say the Wild Eagle. Everything else was closed because of weather, and then normally the lines are really, really long, but...
Yeah, so talk about that travel. Obviously, it's not unique to what you all do in softball. Kind of talk about the places you played and maybe some of your favorite travel experiences, or maybe least favorite travel experiences.
For softball?
Yeah, just in general. I know
anything,
a lot of travel ball involved with playing summer and everything.
Feel free to throw shade at any rival schools. You can remain silent, though. It's fine.
Yeah.
Well, I know for travel ball, especially when we were younger, we would all go out to a PGF tournament in California. As 12-year-olds, we were going out there. So that was an experience.
And that was at Huntington Beach, so it was actually not too hot. But last year we all went to the desert basically in California, and that was brutal. It was over 100 degrees every
kind of
day.
heat.
That was something else.
And then we recently, I know me and Riley, we went to Kansas City a couple weeks ago, and then we're leaving here to go to Colorado soon. So that's fun because we're driving, but it's just with travel softball, you're going everywhere across the country all the time, and it's so fun.
And we were talking before, we had Addie Lewis and Hannah Smith with CCS, and they mentioned about the trip to Colorado. I think Justin asked a question, does the ball travel different out there because of the air? And they said it was true. Is that?
Yes.
It is true.
100%.
Is that
not fun for pitchers?
So it applies to the batters and whoever's on the bump, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a pop fly just randomly goes out.
Just
You
carry
think
it.
you'd hit an infield pop-up and it goes out. Oh, it's crazy.
Yeah, I'm curious how also judging a ball. If somebody hits one, you think, I'm gonna get under, and then all of a sudden it keeps carrying and carrying, and
You're not.
right.
It's going out.
That's crazy. That's great. What about the training? So, how does it when you have to stop and say, I'm getting in basketball shape, and I got to get back in softball shape, or do you just kind of? Because obviously we know Baylor, there's a level of weight training and lifting that you don't necessarily get. And we've seen it grow through all the programs. But just talk about how training affects you, and then maybe what you expect going. We'll talk a little bit more about what y'all are doing at the next level after you leave Baylor. But just talk about training and what you hope to continue with your training.
Yeah, it's definitely tough to just move from different sports and training, but our coaches do a great job at that. And basketball is definitely the toughest for me to get in shape, I think. Even if you take, like, a weekend off, that Monday practice is going to be tough.
A lot of running, yeah, for sure.
I don't know. I think we're very fortunate with going to Baylor with just the lifting programs we have, and it's different based on your sport, which helps, just like what's best for your body, what's best for all this. And so that's good. And I feel very prepared going into college with just like what workouts we've done and like where we're at with our strength to like be able, it's going to be hard going to college, but building from what we already have, like we're not just starting from scratch. Like we have a good base for what we're going to be doing when we move to the next level.
For sure.
Absolutely. You are listening to the Nooga Splash Spotlight Series right here on Off the Bench Radio on Talk 102.3. And again, we're pleased to be joined by Kaylee Snyder, Riley Oleksik, and Holly Merritt, formerly from Baylor softball. But we also got to throw Baylor volleyball and basketball into that mix as well. So thank you all for tuning in right here to 102.3 and, of course, on WGOW.com as well. Kind of as Justin was saying, a lot of travel, a lot of commitment and sacrifices for you guys, but kind of talk about the family aspect as well, because they're traveling with you, for the travel ball season, coming to all your games, whether you're playing here, right across the pond here at Baylor School or on the road. Kind of talk about y'all's families and just kind of the importance of that and helping keeping you guys grounded during this important time of y'all's lives.
They're definitely a huge support. Each one of them help us during the week to get prepared, whether it's going to lessons with us, hitting us extra ground balls, or catching us or whatever. It's just great that they get to experience it all with us, and I don't know, they just make it better, I guess.
Well, I know for me it's going to be a little more personal than that, but like my mom, she goes with me on all my trips and stuff, and so my dad stays home with my sister, and then he's always like picking up extra jobs and whatnot for me to have the ability to get to play on these high-level teams that we do. And so I'm with my mom a lot more on the trips and stuff, and she's always there supporting me in person, but it's always nice to know that anytime that my dad gets a chance, he watches the games, and he's always texting me and wishing me good luck. And it's really hard to describe, like, how grateful I am for them, and I'm sure that they are for their parents, because they do sacrifice so much for us, and it's finally paying off that we get to go to college and do something with it.
Very good. Riley?
Yeah, it's the same thing for me. So my parents both grew up athletes, but my sister plays travel volleyball and is gone every weekend too. So my mom's always with my sister and my dad's always with me. And just, I don't know, I will never be thankful enough to my parents for being able to send me to Baylor and much less pay for travel softball all these years. So I don't know, all the work, like all the hours that my dad's thrown front toss to me and all that kind of stuff is just, I'm so thankful for my parents just making the sacrifices to get me where I am today. And I don't know, it gives me a sense of accomplishment, making them proud to go play at the next level, if that makes any sense. But, yeah, and then my younger sister, she's going to be a sophomore, but I got to play softball and basketball with her this past year, so that was a really awesome experience too. And just she's always been there for me too, and knowing that she's about to go through a lot of the same things that I went through with recruiting and all that it helps to know, like, that she supports me. So that's awesome.
Yeah, so good, bad, or ugly. Like, if you got that 7th, 8th grade girl out there, 6th grade girl, like, what are you telling her? This is what it takes to get to college, or this is what it takes to be a state champion?
I just say stick with it and just keep working. If you need to take a break, that's great. I know I had to take a break, and I ended up doing travel volleyball for 2 seasons just to make sure softball was what I wanted to do. So that was great. So just keep with it and keep working hard. And your parents may be tough on you like mine were, but look where I am now, and it's just great. I'm grateful for them. So
I would also just, like, kind of off of what Kaylee said, like, make sure that it's something that you want to do. Don't just do it because your parents want you to do it, and don't just do it because, like, all your friends do it. Like, when I was younger, I used to pitch, and I mainly, at first, I loved it. And then as I got older, I kind of did it because my mom liked that I did it. But eventually it was kind of a choice. Okay, either you're going to pitch in college or you're going to play first and you're going to hit in college. So then we had to make that decision of what to do, and then we decided, okay, I want to hit and I want to play first in college. And then that got me somewhere that I didn't think I was going to get to. So just, like, make sure that you know that this is something that you want to do, because it's going to take a lot of work and a lot of time.
Yeah, I just think, too, just keep pushing. And I know it's, like, cliche to say, but trust the process, because I know all 3 of us have had especially with the recruiting process, ups and downs, and I thought I was going to do this, but I really did this, and just honestly just like confidence in yourself too, and not comparing yourself to other people. That's always been my biggest like downfall, is comparing myself and being like, oh, well, how come they got this offer? But just stuff like that, and just telling like the younger girls to stay focused on yourself and your grind and be self-motivated for yourself.
So, we talked about the high school, accolades and just the success that our three guests, Holly Merritt, Kaylee Snyder, and Riley Oleksik from Baylor had this past year. Let's move on to the next 4 years, right? The college game. So all three of you are moving on. You're going to be playing softball at the next level. And I guess, Holly, let's start with you going to the Miami of Ohio. So a little bit of ways from home, but still kind of close. It's not like you're going to the opposite side of the country or anything. So kind of talk about the process for you and what ultimately led you to signing with Miami of Ohio.
So for me, the recruiting process was grueling. Last summer, I was on 2 travel ball teams.
Oh, my gosh.
And so, it was the best and worst summer of my life, because I would just be bouncing from tournament to tournament with both teams, and then sometimes I'd have to play with both teams, and I'd be changing uniforms in the car. But
it really? Like the same day?
Yeah, going from field to field.
That's amazing.
But it was an amazing experience, and we did it to get me the most exposure that we could. And then one night we were playing, and one of my coaches, he said, hey, if you get a phone call, you need to answer it. And so I answered it, and it was the former head coach of Miami. And, she had reached out, and she was really eager to get me on campus. And, they had a lot of interest. And then they had watched me the rest of that tournament. And then we had gone to Colorado, like we're about to do soon. And right when we got back, we went up to campus, and they had made an initial offer, and it was really good, and I just kind of fell in love with campus the first time. And then when she came and watched me play in another tournament, and then they bumped the offer up because they were like, look, we really, really want you here. And so not only did I fall in love with the coaches and I fell in love with everything about the school. I loved it. I think it's, for me, the perfect distance away from home. It's not too close, but it's not too far. And it reminds me a lot of Baylor, actually. The campus does. And I don't know. I think it's beautiful, and it was the right thing for me.
Perfect. Kaylee, let's move on to you two. You're moving on to the University of North Alabama, so right across the state line here. So kind of talk about your process and what led you to sign with North Alabama.
I also had a bit of a difficult process just with coaches reaching out and things like that, but my family always told me, like, everything happens for a reason, and so I just didn't jump at the first thing that I got. I really thought over everything. And my pitching coach actually was in contact with the coaches there, and it was just, like, more word of mouth, I guess, that got me committed. And so my roommate is Emily Matthews, who plays at CCS, and her word of mouth also really helped me get to North Alabama. And I had never even heard of it before, like, my pitching coach told me about it, and she's like, you need to go and visit. And so I did, and I really liked it. And it's only 3 hours from home, but it's actually in the middle of my brother, who goes to Rhodes, and he swims, and then in Memphis, and then here, obviously. So that's like 5 hours fully, but then I'm right in the middle, so it's kind of perfect for me. So,
that's awesome.
Yes.
Riley, how about you? Obviously, you're going on to play softball at Eastern Kentucky, so that's a big opportunity for you as well. So I guess just kind of going off of what Holly and Kaylee said, kind of talk about your process and what led you to sign with Eastern Kentucky.
Yeah, so also a lot of the same. I mean, the recruiting process was definitely really hard for me too. I mean, I was one of the last few people on my team to commit, and it was just like, all right, like, when's Riley going to commit? When's Riley going to commit? And it was kind of just like one of those things where it was like, same thing that Kaylee said, like, a couple schools, like, reached out early, and I saw everything, and I was just kind of like, everybody kept telling me, like, it's going to feel right, it's going to feel right. And I actually went to a few schools that were really far from home, and I was like, okay, like, I don't know if that's for me. And then same thing, like, I actually picked up with the team and played, like, my team was out of the tournament, and this team was like, hey, like, to get you extra exposure, like, come play this last game of the tournament with us. and I came and played, and I was hitting, like, last in, like how the pickup player, like, playing outfield, hitting last in the lineup, and I hit, like, a double and a home run that game, and EKU happened to be there. And it was just, like, such a, like, moment where everything just fell into place, and I was just, like, and then they were same thing, where, like, right after that tournament, they were like, hey, like, we got to get you on campus, like, we're super excited, and same thing, and I fell in love with the coaches. I loved the distance from home. It was awesome, and my family was like, all right, like, I don't know what else could be better about this, so I knew right then, and I think I even called them back within, like, a day. I was like, all right, this is it. I'm ready. So that's kind of how my story
All right,
went.
what are we going to miss the most about home? Is there a meal? Is there a person? Is there a place? Is there a thing that you think you might expect to be thinking about the most when you spent your first couple of weeks up there on campus?
I mean, obviously the dogs. I got 4 dogs,
Okay.
so I'm gonna miss the dogs a lot. Probably Champies. I eat at Champies a lot too, and there's no Champies up in Ohio, so I'm gonna miss Champies a whole lot.
That's going to be tough.
I mean,
Yeah.
franchise opportunity, Miami of Ohio. Let's go.
Yeah, bring one to campus. NIL money.
I'm definitely going to miss my dog as well, and then my family and my grandmother, so.
Yeah, definitely my family, for sure. Yeah, my little sister, that's going to be really hard. But, yeah, my mom makes some good food, too, so a home-cooked meal is going to be missed, that's for sure.
And do you have anything you expect? What do you think the greatest challenge is going to be facing you guys when you get away from here and finally kind of, quote-unquote, get out on your own for the first time?
I think just, like, the security of being here, as in, like, we would go to school and you knew who your friends were, and it was just very easy to navigate your way around. And I don't know, I just feel like going to college, like, you're going in there brand new, you don't really know anybody. So I feel like, at least for me, like, that's going to be the hardest, is kind of branching out and making, like, a distinct effort to get involved with not only just the softball program, but also what Miami has to offer.
Yeah, I agree with Holly for sure. Like, we've all gone to Baylor since middle school and been around the same people, done the same things. So it'll just be different to branch out and have a new routine and just keep up with softball, because I've heard that, like, we're not going to Power 5, obviously, but it's still going to be sort of a job, so that we have to maintain grades still and stuff. So
Sure.
Yep, I just think the comfort of Baylor, we've all been at Baylor for so long, so, I mean, yeah.
So before we go to our next break, looking over, where you guys are going to school, teammates now, rivals next year, right? Eastern Kentucky and North Alabama in the Atlantic Sun Conference. I think EKU took 2 out of 3 last year. So thoughts on that, Kaylee? And can you even the score next in 2025?
definitely coming for them next year.
I want to see
Hang
I
on.
know.
Where's the response from Riley? Let's hear it.
Oh, I don't have a response. I just think I'm excited to get there and get to work. We had a good freshman pitcher last year, and she's coming back, so I'm excited about that.
We had to try, at least.
Now,
Right?
if one of you is pitching next year, I think you got to throw a little chin music at your former teammate.
My catcher.
Yeah.
A little welcome. I still love you,
To
but
college.
we're not friends anymore.
I'm sure that's not going to be the case at all. We were talking off air just now, and you were talking about the Baylor summer camps, just now, Riley. So, Justin, you had an interesting story, and I guess let's just throw it out there. You said your son had a unfortunate mishap on was it diving board or at the pool?
Yeah, we were talking about the pool and all the various things that come around the pool. And, he decided to do a reverse cannonball and bust his chin open on the thing. Has to get multiple stitches. And I was just curious what the go-to jump is. I always liked the old school jackknife or, like I said, a cannonball, but I didn't know if there was maybe a go-to summer dive that people, rated, or these young ladies were like, can you dive? Can any of y'all dive? Or do you have a jackknife or a belly flop story? I don't know.
Those are too dangerous.
If you ask my brother, I definitely cannot dive, so I just go with the cannonball.
I'm getting as high as I possibly can, and I am bursting in the water on that cannonball, and I'm getting the maximum splash that I possibly could.
Love it.
Maximum splash. Probably a cannonball, too.
Cannonball's tough to beat.
Cannonball.
Can opener's tough to pull sometimes, but somebody with a a frame like me, I got to go with the cannonball as well. And the more water on people standing around the pool. I mean, it's their fault they're in the splash zone anyway, right? So
Exactly.
Right, and we can also I talked about there was an epic Gatorade shower last night. Do y'all have any memorable Gatorade showers? Were you able to splash anybody, or maybe the next level when Eastern Kentucky knocks off?
We're gonna continue that conversation.
Oh, I don't ever think
we've
we didn't do that.
The Gatorade. Very memorable moment. Very off subject. The closest time I was ever close to a Gatorade bath is when we beat Macaulay at home in football.
Oh yeah.
And Coach Kimmerer got about 4 buckets of it at once. And that was awesome. That's a core high school memory for sure.
Okay, well, more core memories for you guys. Besides that, anything that sticks out to you? It doesn't have to be athletically involved. It could just be something, whether it's a pep rally or just hanging out around town with classmates, teammates, whatever. Or
definitely Spirit Week in Baylor Macaulay, and just like the energy around campus. Like, I love painting the flags that we can hang up all over campus, and it's just totally different, and no other school experiences it.
Small rivalry in this area for sure.
A little bit.
Holly, anything stick out to you, or just hanging out with your dogs eating Champies?
Champions and dogs. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like the whole thing was really, really special, and then
It's awesome.
just for me, one person that I'm always going to take with me would be Coach Gibson, and I'm sure they could attest to that. Like, he's one of my favorite people that I've ever met, and he's always been there to give us advice, whether it came to basketball or even softball or just with life. And he's a very important person to me that I've met while I was there.
Now, we are big fans of the chanting from the softball dugouts and the.
You know where this is going.
Do you guys have a go-to cheer or chant or a favorite? What do they even call it? Those cheers?
Sit on it. We said that all the time.
You know that Steve Harvey?
Okay.
Like,
sit on it.
Perfect.
Yeah, so that was like a thing this year, I think, but I don't know if we have any. I feel like we kind of started the whole like round one thing, like when we get to the top of the line.
Like whenever Addie's up to bat, I always grab the bat and hit like whatever pole made the loudest noise with Holly's bat. It was a superstitious.
Okay.
So you pulled the
go,
Houston Astros in the dugout,
ding, ding, and then we all go round one or whatever,
or
and
like two,
just keep going.
3, like every time Addie gets up.
Okay, excellent.
That's good stuff. I mean, that's definitely a good way to end this edition of Off the Bench Radio in the Nooga Splash Spotlight Series. Holly Merritt, Kaylee Snyder, Riley Oleksik, thank you so much for taking the time to come down here. Like we mentioned, during the show, good luck, at the next level. We'll be pulling for you guys, and congrats on a great season, a great high school career.
Thank
you.
Thanks for having us.